Hey, what's up everyone? Today we're going to be working on the A86 Corolla. We are going to be installing a new brake master cylinder that we got from Battle Garage Racing Services. So Battle Garage Racing Services has a lot of parts for many different makes and models, but they do have a lot of stuff for the Corollas and the 4AGEs. So I like going to them for my stuff. I also got the extended wheel studs for the front of the car, since I'm going to be doing the wheel bearings too. That'll be on another video. But let's go ahead and unwrap the new master cylinder. So this is the new one from Battle Garage Racing Services. You can already see some differences in them. For example, the actual brake fluid reservoir on the one from O'Reilly, it doesn't have the wiring that it's supposed to have. Without that wiring, you're gonna get the brake light on the instrument cluster to actually turn on. That's supposed to be for you know, to let you know when you're low on fluid, and without it, it's going to be constantly on like it is on mine now. And luckily, Battle Garage Racing Services provides this for you with the OEM style plug. A couple other differences that I see are the what looks like copper inserts here compared to these steel ones with the anodized on there. And then this looks like it's actually copper. This one might actually be steel with a copper washer. This one has a copper washer also. But the main difference is that weight wise, oh yeah, this one's a lot heavier. This one looks like it's wrought iron, and this one feels like it might be aluminum. So +1 for BGRS. Again, this one is one that I got from O'Reilly. I don't know exactly what brand it is, but see, the issue that I've been having is that I don't know if it's overheating it because of the, you know, I take it to the autocross events, but the seals on the inside of the O'Reilly units always give out, and it goes from a nice firm pedal to just no firmness at all, and it goes straight to the floor. So that's why this time I decided to go for the one that Battle Garage Racing Services they offer, and according to the box, it looks like it might be a real Eisen unit. Hopefully it's the real deal, and it'll last a lot longer than these units do from O'Reilly. I'm going to keep this one as a backup just in case, but I'm thinking and hoping that this one from BGRS is just going to do everything that we need it to do. Okay, so the first thing we got to do is we got to bench bleed it, and pretty much what that means is that we're going to put fluid in the reservoir, and we're going to replace these rubber plugs with these threaded plugs, so that we can put a soft something soft in here that we can actually activate and actuate the piston inside to try and bleed out all of the air out of the cylinder itself. That way, when you put it into the car, it'll be a lot easier to bleed all the air out, since this is going to be full of fluid, and hopefully you won't have any air in there. Okay, so we'll start off by taking out these plugs that came with the brake master, and you thread these in as far as they can go by hand, and then you'll give it just a little tiny tightening with a 12mm wrench, just to get it nice and snug so that you don't get any leaks or any air bleeding into the system. Okay, so now that we have the plugs in, the threaded plugs on both sides, we can pop the cap off. Here's your level sending unit. Try not to get any dirt in there. And then it comes with the filter, and we're going to be using DOT4 because the car is going to be used for autocross and time attack. That way we get we prevent overheating and hopefully brake fade too. So when you do this, you want to at least try and hold it as level as you can as you're filling it up. Let any and all air bubbles out while you're filling it. You let it go down a bit. And the purpose of this is to, as I said before, bleed any air out that's in that cylinder. So technically you're supposed to be doing this in a vise, but since I don't have one, I'm just gonna have to keep it as level as I can. And see, you can already start seeing the bubbles coming out of there. So again, to compress and decompress the piston inside, you're gonna wanna get something soft, or at least softer than the metal that's inside of it. And you're going to want to compress and decompress slowly so that you don't get any damage in there. Oh, this one's still too loose. So you're gonna want to keep doing this until you get no air coming out of the cylinder. Go ahead and get it from the top. You can see the air bubbles coming up. So once you're pretty sure that you bled all the air out of it, the piston will actually get really hard to where you can't push it back into it anymore. That should be pretty close to where you have all the air out of it, if not all of it. And now you're ready to install it back onto the car. So what you do next is you put the cap back on. You make sure you got all your fluid in there. And we're going to put it back into the car, hook up the brake lines to it, and we're going to have to bleed the system. Okay, so now that you have it mounted to the car, you take your threaded plugs off and you try and quickly put the line back on so you don't lose too much fluid. So once you have everything nice and snug, you want to clean up any fluid that may have spilled, because it will eat your paint. And I'll show you what I mean right now. So if you actually look down here, you can see where all the paint has been eaten out by the previous owner and the previous brake masters that were leaking before. But here it is installed, and now all we got to do is bleed the brakes and the car will be good to go. So once you're sure you bled the system correctly and you believe that you don't have any more air in the line, go ahead and top off your fluid to the line right below the max. And go ahead and start the car up. Give the brake a couple pumps, hold it, and make sure it doesn't fall to the floor anymore. So once you have everything put together, you have everything tightened down, you bled all the air out of the system, just make sure you check for leaks, pump those brakes up a little bit, hold it down, see if it'll hold pressure, and if it does, then take it for a test drive and you should be good to go.